So speaking of innovative ideas, we are here today to talk about internal float pool, internal agency, and I'm wondering, why is that a topic right now? What has changed in the healthcare landscape where it makes it relevant?
Absolutely. It's a big topic right now because post-pandemic, hospital systems, a lot of organizations start really having some hard time with the cost. And they wanted basically innovative solutions, creative ideas to attract, but also engage with clinicians. So any opportunity where they can actually bring talents from different kind of sources and channels to deploy them to open assignments, that's basically what the need came from. So it is really the need for speed and cost, reducing the cost as well.
Okay. And, I hear these terms interchangeably sometimes: internal agency, internal float pool. What's the difference?
Yep, it can get confusing sometimes, right? Let me kind of step back and talk about a little bit about the definition, right, of what we call an internal resource pool. Number one, it's not a new thing. It's basically been in the market for a long time. And simply an internal resource pool, Kerry, is a talent pool that our clients or hospital systems usually they attract and engage. And we're going to focus a little bit later on the word engage, because that's going to be a very key one. So they attract them. How do they attract them? From different sourcing channels. It could be somebody who worked there before. It could be a retiree. It could be somebody who applied for a full-time job through their ATS. So they basically have that talent pool that they can actually deploy them to different kind of engagements. So that's what we call an internal resource pool.
Okay.
Now, this is where you get into then, what is the float pool and what is internal agency? They're very similar, right? They are a part of that internal resource pool. It's just the way you engage with the clinician. That's the only difference. The float pool is when you deploy the clinician for a shift-based engagement, while the internal agency is when you deploy the clinician on more longer-term assignments.
So if I'm a nurse, do I know the shifts that I'm going to, or am I kind of figuring that out on a daily basis? How's that experience for the nurse or the clinician?
Absolutely. Historically, that experience has not been very good. And that's why really the need and the challenge for that hospital systems are really faced with is, how can I actually deploy that nurse rapidly, quickly? If that nurse is ready to go, how can I actually go and direct that nurse to an open shift immediately? And that's what we're probably going to be talking a little bit more about, is how the technology have been evolving in the last kind of couple of years to really speed up that process of deploying the nurse into open shifts.
Okay. And does the nurse maintain a full-time position, or are they full-time in this resource pool?
That's a good question. Usually they are a full-time employee for the client or for the hospital system. It's just the way they're deployed, from how it sounds, floating, right? So they float from one hospital to another. For example, the hospital system might have 10, 15 locations. So that clinician might take one assignment or one shift tomorrow with hospital A. Next day, they might take another shift with hospital B that's 10 miles away, right? Mm-hmm. End of the day, they are a full-time, but they're just they're deployed in a as needed basis, and they just don't go to the same job in the same location every day.